Her late nights at the office were a lie. What I found at the hotel changed everything. I always prided myself on being a trusting boyfriend. I believed in open communication and mutual respect, which is why I never questioned Kayla's late nights at the office. She worked as a senior marketing manager at a firm that demanded long hours, and I knew her career was important to her. We'd been together for 2 years, and while we had our share of disagreements, I always believed in her commitment to our relationship. After all, she was always so caring, so attentive when we spent time together. It all started to unravel on a Friday night. I had planned a special dinner for the two of us at her favorite restaurant, but as the evening approached, I received a message from Kayla. She told me she had to work late to meet a deadline and wouldn't be able to make it. She was apologetic, as always, and suggested we reschedule for the weekend. I understood. She had been telling me about this project for days, and I knew how important it was to her. Still, a part of me felt disappointed, but I pushed it aside. I decided to make the most of my night, so I went out with a few friends, had a couple of drinks, and tried to enjoy the evening. But something about her message lingered in the back of my mind. The more I thought about it, the more I realized this wasn't the first time Kayla had worked late like this. She'd made similar excuses for the past few weeks, and I had always accepted them without question. But tonight, the thought gnawed at me. Why had she been working so much lately, and why was she never able to keep our plans? As I sat in the bar with my friends, I found myself scrolling through my phone, aimlessly passing time. I happened to open her social media profile, and that's when I saw it. A post from one of her co-workers, a guy named Aaron, tagged her in a photo at a hotel lobby. It was captioned, "Late Night Brainstorming Session at the Grandview Hotel." At first, I didn't think much of it. Kayla had mentioned a work retreat earlier in the week, but I assumed it was just an overnight trip for the project. However, something about the photo seemed off. The hotel looked upscale, and I knew Kayla had never mentioned staying there. I quickly shot her a text asking if she was at the Grandview Hotel, and she replied almost instantly, "Yes, working on a big presentation. I'll be done soon and back home." Her response was quick and calm, but something about the way she answered didn't sit right with me. There was a lack of detail, an absence of the usual warmth she showed in our texts. It was like she was trying to avoid a deeper conversation, but I didn't let it go. I needed answers. I had been patient and trusting, but I couldn't ignore the nagging feeling anymore. My gut was telling me something wasn't right. I decided to head to the Grandview Hotel. I didn't know what I was expecting to find, but I had to see for myself. I couldn't just sit around and pretend everything was fine. As I drove to the hotel, my thoughts raced. Could there be something more going on? Was I overreacting, or was I finally seeing something I'd been too blind to notice? When I arrived at the hotel, I parked in the lot and stood for a moment, looking up at the tall building. The lights were bright, and the lobby appeared elegant and bustling. I walked through the doors, my heart pounding in my chest, and made my way to the front desk. I asked the receptionist if a Kayla Thompson had checked in, trying to keep my voice steady. The receptionist looked at me with a polite smile. "I'm sorry, sir, but I can't provide that information." I nodded, trying to remain calm, but the lack of transparency only fueled my suspicions. Was she really here for work? Or was there something more to this business trip than she had let on? I walked around the lobby pacing and trying to collect my thoughts. I didn't want to jump to conclusions, but as I thought about the weeks leading up to this moment, things started to add up in a way I hadn't considered before. The unexplained late nights, the distance between us, the way she always had a reason to cancel our plans. It didn't feel like work anymore. It felt like something else, something I wasn't prepared to face. I stood there in the lobby for what felt like an eternity, my mind racing. I could feel the weight of my decisions sinking in with every passing second. I had come here hoping to find an innocent explanation, but deep down I was afraid of what I might uncover. Kayla had always been so transparent with me in the past, and now this sudden change in behavior felt like a crack in our relationship that I couldn't ignore. After what seemed like forever, I finally saw her. She was walking through the lobby with Aaron, laughing at something he had said. They were close. Too close. My stomach sank as I watched them. Aaron's hand brushed against hers as they walked, and I saw her glance up at him with a smile that was different from the ones she gave me. It was familiar. It was intimate. My heart dropped into my stomach. Kayla hadn't seen me yet. I stood frozen in place, unsure of what to do. My instincts screamed at me to walk over and confront her, but I was paralyzed by the fear of what might happen next. I watched as they walked toward the elevator, her laughter echoing in my ears. The image of them together burned in my mind. Kayla, the woman I loved, acting so freely with another man. I couldn't take it anymore. My feet moved before I could think it through, and I found myself heading toward the elevator just as the doors were about to close. I caught them just in time, stepping inside behind them. Kayla looked up in surprise, her eyes widening when she saw me standing there. Her face shifted from confusion to something else. Guilt, maybe, but it was too late to hide it now. "Aaron," I said, my voice shaky, "I didn't expect to see you here." Aaron's smile faltered, and he glanced quickly at Kayla before looking away. Hey man, didn't see you there." I ignored him, focusing on Kayla. "So, this is where you've been spending your late nights? At a hotel? With Aaron?" She opened her mouth to speak but seemed to struggle with her words. She looked away, avoiding my gaze. My heart raced as the realization hit me. She hadn't been honest with me. The truth was finally coming to the surface, and it was more painful than I could have ever imagined. I can explain," she stammered, but I could already feel the distance growing between us. She knew she had been caught. But before she could say another word, the elevator dinged and the doors opened. I stepped out, my mind in chaos, my heart breaking with every step I took. I didn't know what was going to happen next, but I couldn't stand there and pretend everything was okay anymore. The woman I thought I knew, my girlfriend, wasn't the person I thought she was. And the truth, painful as it was, had finally come to light. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more watching videos.